Hello. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. I don't know where most of you are from. So if you want to put either what country or what state you're from, that would be sort of cool to know. So if you're new here, I'm Summer. Tonight we're going to do something a tiny bit different. Our main focus is going to be releasing negative trapped emotions. But especially in honor of the new year, I really like to focus on something positive. So not only will we release a trapped emotion, but I think we're going to instill and imbue you with a positive emotion. And so generally, I trust that the energy will fill any voids. So with this, we're going to fill any voids created with the positive emotion that'll help you the most. And this is a little bit similar to where you pick a positive emotion and I pick a couple more. This is sort of shrunk down. So you don't need to pick a positive emotion. I'll just pick one for you. So let's see where everybody's from. Texas. Wisconsin. I am like a mile from Wisconsin, Ayla. I'm in Minnesota, right on the border. Australia. Wow, Jenny, I didn't realize you were from there. So it's like early morning in Australia, is that correct? And Bridget's from Minnesota. I'm up in Duluth, Bridget. And there is Sissy. You are on the right night. Perfect. Yep. For some of you, I was actually on last night on Facebook because for my regulars, I've had some technical difficulties with my streaming service, and I have had troubles with both YouTube and Facebook. And although the YouTube got fixed, the Facebook still had issues. So I went live last night just to test it, and it worked fabulously. So Valerie's from Florida. Oh, Cindy's from Michigan. Yeah, the UP is not far from me. Oh, Colette's from Connecticut. Sissy's from Colorado. Oh, Ayla's in Superior. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not too far from you at all, Ayla. Oh, midday in Australia. Oh, Bridget's in Hugo. I don't think I've been to Hugo. Oh, yes. Yes, we definitely can. I don't even want to go there, but I'm just horrified at how much taxes I pay, and it's all gone to other things. So, yeah, it's awful. So awful. But that is not why we're here tonight. We're here for healing. And so, I've got my book. For those of you who are new, usually at about 10 minutes in, we will start. Oh, Valerie just said Hugo's north of Forest Lake. Okay. I was just in North Branch last week. So I probably drove right by there. So tonight we're going to focus on positive, but we're also going to release some trapped emotions. So we're going to do 3 healing pulses, which most of you, I think, will enjoy. And then we're going to do the new combination, releasing trapped emotions and adding a positive emotion. And so I'm expecting the healing piece for the individuals will take a little bit longer, but it's my plan to get through everyone. And then we'll end with aura strengthening. And as we go, if anyone has any questions or Or I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I think that's going to keep us plenty busy for the next hour. So, would you believe today is show number 186? I started this when COVID first started with a weekly show as a way of giving back. And then I switched to monthly, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it, but we will see. I'm hoping 2026 brings me some clarity. And so, got my handy dandy book where I write everything down, who was here, what we worked on, and what we came up with. And I know, Tug of Lights from North Carolina. Okay, so I think there was a couple of you that might have listed healing things, so I'm going to see. All right. So when I ask about healing, sometimes it's emotional things, sometimes it's physical things. And so I'm going back. So Tug of Light, assistance on healing jawline and neck breakouts. Is that what you want to work on? If so, just answer yes. Lots of familiar names and a few new ones. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to start with Tug of Light and just wait for that confirmation. And so just so you know, every once in a while, somebody writes something in the comments and I miss it for a healing request. So please don't take it personally. Sometimes I feel I need an assistant, but for the most part, I get everybody. So Harmonious wants to work on financial stability. That is a great one for the new year. Clut, neck and spine feeling achy. And so for those of you who are feeling these physical things, that's going to be a really easy one to do the healing pulse. Serene wants financial abundance. And I think we're going to jump right in and do the healing pulse. I'm going to write down one more. Okay. So Miriam, I generally don't focus on clearing ancestral problems. I usually focus on the issue and looking for root cause. And sometimes that's ancestral, sometimes it's something unrelated, oftentimes it's a mix of things. And so tonight I focus on the quickest thing to help as many people as possible. In a private session, I've got between like 25 and 30 different tools that I use. Some deal with emotions, some deal with past lives, some deal with entities, along with energy work. And so Miriam, do you want me to focus on the hair loss? All right, so let's start with our first healing pulse. So with this, the energy goes where you direct it to go. So if you've got something physical going on, like Colette had neck and spine issues, that's going to be pretty easy for you to send energy to. If it's something emotional, I want you to really think about where are you feeling it. So if you're anxious or you're extra sad, where in your body do you feel that? So, like with me, anxiety is usually the pit of my stomach. And so that's where you're going to want to send the energy to. So, I want everyone to start with rubbing your hands together. And then I want you to place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. If you can't reach it, imagine your hands are there. And then all of you, imagine my hands are on your hands. So not only are you getting your own healing energies and frequencies, but mine too. And the most important part is just allowing the energy to flow. So imagine that with each breath, the healing will go a little deeper. With each exhalation, you are releasing. So breathe in and allow that to flow. Breathe out and allow that to release. And so with this, there is a wide range of what you can feel. So anything from not really feeling anything, which sometimes that's me even, to some people really connecting with the energy. Maybe they feel hot or cold or tingles. So just breathe in and allow that to keep flowing. And breathe out. Okay, so that's our first healing pulse. It's a fairly short process, and we'll do 3 of these tonight. Usually people feel more in the second and third pulses. So let me know how you did. I'm just going to continue through. In a tarot, left wisdom teeth. Okay, so just going down and seeing what people have written. And Baha, if you don't really have anything, we can just see what comes up. So just let me know if you change your mind. And Sissy, I'm freezing up, and I think that's your internet. So I don't know how far away your router is, Sissy, or if you're accessing me on your phone. But if you've got a laptop and are connecting through Wi-Fi, maybe get a little closer. Oh, Baja feels cursed. That's terrible. Ayla, breakup and reconciliation. All right. And tug of light, I don't know if I've gotten to your response. All right, so we're going to add Denise. Healing for physical strength. That's a good one, especially in the winter. And it's icy and slippery. Sissy healing her body. That's a great one, Sissy. All right, so Cindy's got some poor circulation, especially fingers. Okay. Rose petal, financial stability, new job. Job. Valerie, general healing, so wherever it's meant to go. Jenny, financial abundance. Oh, good. There's another Jones in the room. AJB Jones. Manifest finding the house for the winter. Nice. I'm going to put the right house. Bridget, financial abundance. Busy night. We might be here a while. Okay, Angel Night, stress, and then Jeffrey, fatigue. Stress, fatigue. Miriam, thank you for confirming the hair loss. Oh, there's Donna. Welcome, Donna. Donna wants right knee. Thank you, Harmonious. Okay, so Tug of Light, TMJ, right side. I think I'm almost getting to the bottom. And Valerie's talking about the healing pulse. That burps, farts, yawns, that is a sign that the energy is flowing. And Colette's feeling calmer. Wonderful. Thank you, Valerie, for helping Sissy. Okay, Angel Night. Inflammation, left foot. We'll see what comes up as the most important thing. Left foot. Rose petal. So with this, especially with this group, I'm going to focus on one thing. So if you've given me a couple things, just know I will focus on whatever is most important. Staying focused. Rose petal. All right, almost there. Okay, so Tug-O-Lite, you've just added like a second or third one. I'm going to focus on the first one that you gave me. And I think, is that Alicia from last night? So it's not Alicia, it's Alicia, right? So anxiety. Okay, now we're going to start. So with this, I come up with the trapped emotions using muscle testing and intuition. So Tug-O-Lite wants to work on TMJ on her right side. And so we're going to find a negative emotion. And oftentimes this is a compilation of things. And so my goal is to find the first thing that we can release. And I'm hoping that it brings whatever's going on down at least a notch. If you don't have a lot of causes for this, sometimes it will bring it down a whole lot. But especially as you get older, if you don't deal with things, usually things are layered. And so there's multiple issues going on. So let's see what's coming up first for Tug of Light. All right, so I'm getting the word undisciplined for Tug. Let me get an age and we'll see if that links to an event or a memory of something in your life that was undisciplined. So let me just see. So this was from around when you were 13. And when you think about, a young teen, 13, oftentimes it's harder to be disciplined, but there must have been, I don't know if you got into trouble or what, but something that had an impact with you about being undisciplined. So we're going to release that. And then we're also going to fill the void we created with the release with a positive emotion. And let me find that. And it's the energy of learning. All right, so we're going to release and remove the energy of undiscipline. And so with any of these trapped emotions, if you're a healer, if you could assist me in releasing. And if you're not a healer, if you could just lend support by saying a little prayer, a little wish that the energies of the trapped emotion get released. So we're going to work on releasing Tug of Light's undisciplined. And if you have any feedback, if you said, oh, that was a time when this happened and that makes sense. And so we're also going to do the same thing. We're going to imbue and strengthen learning for Tug of Light. Okay, so that's released. And the positive is reinforced. All right, Harmonious is looking for financial stability. So let's see what we can release and what we can add that would help with that. So now I just need to find the positive. Thank you, Rose Petals. That's appreciated. All right, so Harmonious, there was an event from when you were about 24. So 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there where the word is naive. So I don't know if there was a situation where you felt naive or it happened because you were naive or you were teased because you were naive. But there was something negative about that. I did not Angel Night. So we're releasing naive for harmonious, and we are reinforcing the energy of being vital. And I really like that for your financial stability because I feel like attracts like. So if you are attracting strong financial energies, being and feeling vital, I think, will play a role. All right, so the next three people we've got are Colette, Serene, and Miriam. So Colette, her neck and spine is feeling a little achy. So let's see why that is. Thank you for that feedback, Harmonious. All right, one more thing, and then I'll have Colette's. All right. Colette, I'm getting around age 26. There was an event where you felt unworthy. So 25, 26, 27, something in there. And so we're going to release that. But then we're going to instill and strengthen in you a feeling of being united. And when I think of being united, I think of you being strong. So if you want to assist me in releasing and removing unworthy, and then strengthening united. Okay, and Tug of Light commented because came up undisciplined. So with that, having the potential career of being a ballerina, is it the opposite? Where you had friends and family who were undisciplined and you were so disciplined that there was a big distinction between you? All right, and I've got some questions about if I've got people. So I'm going to just go through the whole list. So if you're not on the list, you can tell me. So we just finished working with Colette, and then we've got Serene, Miriam, Ine Tarot, Baha, Ayla, Denise, Sissy, Cindy, Rose Petals, Valerie, Jenny, AJB Jones, Bridget, Angel Knight, Jeffrey, Donna, and Alicia. So we're going to do Serene, and then we're going to do our second healing pulse. And Serene wants to work on financial abundance. So let's see what comes up for that. I think if I do this again, I'll probably print out separate sheets so I'm not flipping back and forth so much. All right, almost there, Serene. I just need to get an age. All right, so this is from when you were about 19, and so 18, 19, 20, where something or someone made you feel small. So we're going to release that energy of feeling small, and then we're going to add flowing. And so when you think about feeling small and being sort of shrunk, imagine things are flowing. So when I think of things flowing, they're expanding and strong. Okay, so let's just see. Wow. Something weird is going on with Facebook. I don't know if you saw the comments, but all my Facebook comments are all grouped together. So you're going to have to help me. And you guys can't tell who's Facebook and who's not, but it's a little messy. So let me just make sure. I know Anne Marie just came in. Welcome, Anne Marie. And Serene just made a comment about 19 being a age that made sense to her. All right, so Nancy wants to work on arthritis. And I did see Anne Marie say hello, but oh, and there's Sissy. She's here on YouTube now. I hope this works better for you, Sissy. All right, and Anne-Marie, oh, there you are. Anne-Marie wants to work on forgiveness and resilience. I like those for you, Anne-Marie. So we're going to do our second healing pulse. And when we come back, we're going to work with Miriam, Ine Tarot, and Baha. All right, so second healing pulse. So with this, if you were here for the first healing pulse, you can use it in the same place. And I want you to think about, do you want to do someplace new? Now, if you just came in, think about a place where you could really need some healing, either physically or somewhere emotionally in your body. So I want you to rub your hands together and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours. And so just allow the healing to flow. With each breath in, the healing goes a little deeper. So with breath work, if you like doing breath work, I would suggest the box breath. So just breathe that in. And so like tug of light, I would expect you would have your hands on your right jaw, allowing that energy to flow. And I'm impressed that you saw the correlation between the disciplined, undisciplined connection to you. think we've all been tough on our inner child tug of light. So just keep breathing that healing in. And when you exhale, you're breathing out. Okay, so that was our second healing pulse. As I've said previously, usually the second or third healing pulse most people find the strongest. Let me know how you did, what you experienced. And then, so I think Angel Night, I do have that down. We'll see what comes up because you have also said of something else too. So I've got that listed. So next we've got Miriam, NA Tarot, and Baha. So Miriam, you are next. So let's see what comes up. Okay, so I've got the trapped emotion. Let me just find the positive emotion. Then I just need the age for Miriam. So the trapped emotion happened when you were about 16. So 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. And I'm getting the energy of being mocked. And so let's go ahead and release that energy because that's an awful feeling. So we're going to release that. But then we're going to put the energy of something really good and being thrilled about something. So imagine that being mocked and that awful, icky feeling. But then when that's gone, you're filling it up with something that's really sort of thrilling. So just expanding and allowing that to grow. Okay, NA Tarot, left wisdom teeth. So let's see what comes up with that. Okay, I just need to get an age for NA Tarot. So NA Tarot, this is from when you're about 24. So 23, 24, 25. Was there a time when you were super undecided about something? And it wasn't a simple decision. It was sort of an intense decision, which is why it became a trapped emotion. So we're going to release that. And so I think especially when you're undecided and it's a sort of a negative thing, it makes you feel more unsure. So the positive emotion that I've got for NA Tarot is Virile. And so I imagine the releasing the undecided and being more weak and unsure, but replacing it with Virile, which means strong and very confident. And so I really like that exchange. Okay, next is Baha. So we've got Baha, Ayla, and Denise up next. And so, and Miriam wrote about her. So she had mocked from around age 16. So was mocked by classmates after getting a haircut very short and not being able to style it well after it being long, about 15. Wow. Yeah, being mocked, that can really, I mean, that's bullying. And then Annie Tarot, so she had undecided around 24. She got married at 24, felt unsure and trapped. Wow. So, yeah, many of these energies can stick with you for a long time. And so counseling can help release things, but the work that I do can also help release things. All right, so Baha, let's see what comes up for you. Now, Baha wants to work on whatever's most important. Thank you for the feedback, guys. That's very helpful. Okay, I just need an age for Baha. So Baha, I'm getting that the negative emotion is like very recent and it's the energy of deflated. So I imagine it's sort of like you have high expectations, um, hopes, dreams, and it's like a balloon just that went flat. You're deflated. And so you're doing a lot of questioning. So the positive emotion we're going to replace, though, is the word innocent. And how I think that correlates is you are doing some self blame, but it's not your fault. You are innocent. Part of life is the ups and downs, and sometimes there's multiple downs all at the same time. And so sometimes it's not any of our fault. It's just sometimes it's karma, sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's both. So let's get rid of deflated and that yucky negative energy, and we're going to just fill it up with the innocence and hope that things will change. Okay, so next we've got Ayla. And Ayla's working with a breakup and possible reconciliation. So let's see what this can do to help her. Okay. Just need to get the positive for Ayla. All right, almost there. Yeah, this does take a little bit longer than just the negative emotion, but I sort of like how things sort of mesh and interact. All right, so Ayla, there is a past stress from your life when you're around 19, so somewhere 18, 19, 20. So we need to release that. And then we need to remove that stress and replace it with the energy of understanding. And also with that understanding, I also think it's understanding for yourself, understanding for others. And I think a lot of that also includes patience too. So we're going to release the energy from that event of stress. Angel Night, probably not tonight, just because we've got such a big list. And then we're going to fill up understanding for Ayla. Okay, so Denise. Denise wants healing for physical strength. So let's see what is playing a role with that. All right, so I'm just going to age for Denise. All right, so Denise, this was from when you're around 29, so 28, 29, 30, and it was a time that there was a lot of resentment and you felt very resentful. So we need to release that. And then we need to fill it with the energy of being reliable. And this reliable pertains to multiple things, allowing others to be reliable, but also allowing yourself to be reliable. And that includes your body being reliable. So I think work on allowing your body to be there for you, along with other people. That explanation's a little awkward, but I'm not sure how else to word it. So we're going to release resentful. And we're going to strengthen reliable. All right, so Sissy is next, and then we've got Cindy and Rose Petals. So Sissy wants to work on healing her body. So let's see what comes up. Oh, and we'll do our third healing pulse in a moment. All right, so Sissy, I've got something from around when you were 14 or so. So 13, 14, 15. And it's the word mixed up. So I don't know if there was something that was sort of confusing for you, or if it was something, if it was a situation, or if it was about your friends, if there was some type of mix-up. So we're going to release that. And then the positive word I've got for you is unselfish. And with this, releasing the mixed up allows you to open up thoughts for yourself and others. So we're going to release mixed up. And we're going to reinforce unselfish. All right, so we're going to do our next healing pulse. I'll go through and say who is next on the list, the whole list. So next, when we come back, we've got Cindy, Rose Petals, Valerie, Jenny, AJB Jones, Bridget, Angel Knight, Jeffrey, Donna, Alicia, Nancy, and Anne Marie. And if I've missed anyone, let me know because I will put it on the list. So third healing pulse. So if you need somewhere new to send energy, I often suggest head or heart. Head meaning like third eye or even like your crown. Otherwise, many of you are dealing with some physical things and emotional things. So if you're still working on those, I suggest sending energy to those. So I want you to rub your hands together and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. So just breathe that in, allow the energy to flow. Just allow. So breathing in, allowing it to go deeper and deeper with each breath, and breathing out, you are releasing. Just allowing. Okay, and that was our third healing pulse. Going back to the list, so we're going to work on Cindy. Cindy is dealing with poor circulation, especially in her fingers. All right, and let me get a positive for that. I just need to get an age for Cindy. Thank you, Valor, for talking about that healing pulse response. All right, so Cindy, I'm getting a trapped emotion of being despondent around age 29, so 28, 29, 30. So I don't know if there was something super negative that was going on at that time period. So let's release that energy. And then we're going to replace it with something positive, and that word is unbiased. And how I imagine that to be is, I know sometimes we get sort of locked in on a certain something. And if we can reinforce unbiased and have you be more open and allowing the universe to bring it to you instead of you being sort of locked down on a certain outcome or a certain thing. So let's release despondent, and then we're going to bring in unbiased. You are welcome, Angel Knight. Okay, so rose petals. Rose petals is looking for financial stability, new job, but also staying focused. So I'm going to just focus on if all of those have the same trapped emotion, we can work on all of them, but usually we split them up. So let me just see what we're going to work on. So we're going to work on a combination of the financial stability, new job. So whatever comes up, this will work on those two together. All right, let me get a positive. All right. Okay, so rose petals. So I'm getting the negative trapped emotion of phobic around age 31. So 30, 31, 32, somewhere in there. So I don't know if there was some type of situation where that was coming up. So we're going to release that energy, that fearful energy, and we're going to replace it with the energy of being vital and strong and confident. And so releasing and removing phobic and instilling and strengthening being vital. Tug-of-late, I think that's wonderful. Okay, Valerie is next. Let's see what comes up for Valerie. Let me just get the positive. Okay, Valerie, this, I'm not sure how this works for this one. So I'm getting the negative emotion of unprotected around 29. So somewhere 28, 29, 30. And so we need to release that feeling of not being protected, not being safe. But the positive emotion is a little odd. It's from the list and it's smooth. And so I think what that means is, so during that time when you got the trapped emotion, things were chaotic and a bit crazy. And so we need to focus for the new energies on things just being smooth, even keel, safe. So let's go ahead and release that unprotected feeling. And then we're going to instill and strengthen everything just going smoothly. All right, so the next three we've got Jenny, AJB Jones, and Bridget. So Jenny wants to work on financial abundance. All right, I just need the positive and an age for Jenny. So Jenny, I'm getting resentful around age 23. So 22, 23, 24. So we're going to release the resentful and we're going to fill it with being tactful. And especially tune into the energy of resentful. It's sort of yucky and harsh and unforgiving. But tactful is nice and civil and kind. So let's release resentful and we're going to fill the voids with tactful. Thank you for that feedback, Valerie. Yeah, it's interesting. Unprotected. You know, that's just another word for not feeling safe. So, very interesting. All right. Next, AJB Jones wants to manifest finding the right house, which I think is great. It's a perfect time of year for that. Oh, and there's Beth. Welcome. We are still working on individual healing, Beth. So if you want to put something in the comments, I think I've got about 10 people left we're still working on just because it's a busy night. So I appreciate everyone's patience. All right. Almost there, AGB. All right, so Beth, breathing, coughing. All right, so AJB, I'm getting the energy of fearful around age 17. So 16, 17, 18. So something in there, not a good time and a wonderful thing to release. But once it's released, we're going to fill it with the energy of praise. And think about that. So release the fear based and add praised, which is showing gratitude. So we're going to release fearful and we're going to add praised. I like that switch. I'm really hoping that puts you over the edge for finding the perfect place for you and your family. All right, so the next three I've got are Bridget, Angel Knight, and Jeffrey. So Bridget wants to work on financial abundance. So let's see what comes up for her. So especially for my regulars, what do you think about the negative and the positive that we're doing together tonight? Is it taking too much time? Should I go back to just focusing on releasing the negative? Is the additional time worth it? All right, almost there, Bridget. Thank you, Sissy. I like the balance of the negative and the positive, but it definitely takes me more time. I think I need to work on my paperwork, and then I'm not flipping things around so much. Or maybe I need to use my smaller lists because the negative emotion list I'm using has like 400, and maybe I should just use my list that has 60, and that would be quicker. So I might try that next month. All right, I just need the positive emotion for Bridget. I appreciate your patience, though, too. All right. So for Bridget, I'm getting repulsive around age 9. So like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. Not a great emotion for being such a little one. So let's release that. And then the positive emotion I got is unhurried. And so I'm trying to think how that relates. So when I think of repulsive, I think of just, you know, making yourself small and tight and stagnant. But with unhurried, I think I see that being like calmer and more free. But the repulsive is just sort of tight and nasty. So let's definitely get rid of the repulsive, Bridget. And then the unhurried and the being more open and free. I could see that drawing things to you in a positive way. Okay. Angel Knight. So we've got two things on the list for you. Stress, but also inflammation of your left foot. So let's see which one is most important we work on tonight. So we're going to work on the inflammation. And I hope you've been doing the healing pulses on your foot because I'm thinking that should help. So when I first started doing the Healing Pulses live, because initially I just did it individually in person, and then I had a friend who was having some trouble, and we did it through text. And then I started doing it on my lives. And when I first started doing it during COVID, I would send everybody home with a little baggie full of Healing Pulses. And I sort of quit doing that. But just know you can call on that energy at any time and pull that in, because it's all about intention and frequency. All right, one more thing, and I'll have Angel Nights. Okay, this is an interesting one, Angel Night. So, the negative emotion I got for you is embroiled. Around 28, so 27, 28, 29, somewhere in there. And then when you talk about inflammation, it makes me think about your foot and just how it's just expanded and embroiled in negative energy. And so we're going to release that. So focus on the release of embroiled. But your positive emotion is invited. I'm like, how does that relate? And so I'm wondering, because of that negative energy of being embroiled, have you invited healing into your foot and into your life? Or are you more focused on being embroiled and being like focused on the drama piece from around like 28? So let's release that embroiled, and I can also imagine releasing the drama. And then we're going to invite warm and welcoming healing into your life that you control. Because I think the embroiled is related to other people that pulled you in. But with inviting, you choose who you invite. Oh, I like that. All right, so let's get rid of embroiled, and we're going to strengthen and secure, invited, and give you the power to who enters your life. All right, Jeffrey is next. So Jeffrey wants to work on fatigue. Then we've got Donna, Alicia, Nancy, Anne Marie, and Beth. All right, so Jeffrey, let's see what comes up for you. And then we will end tonight with aura strengthening for those of you who are still around. Okay, I like this one for you, Jeffrey. All right, so for Jeffrey, I'm getting the energy of being destitute. But the thing is, this is from when you were like 7. Destitute is not a typical age for a 7-year-old. So let me check and see if this is really yours, or did you pick this up from someone around you? So I'm not getting it's yours. So this is going to be easy for us to get rid of. And then we're going to fill up that space where that negative energy was with the energy of being exceptional. So let's get rid of destitute. And we're going to fill up that void with just being exceptional. Exceptional in so many things. The sky's the limit, Jeffrey. That is a cool one. All right, Donna is next. So Donna wants to work on her right knee. Let's see what comes up for that. Almost done. Oh, I like this one for Donna. All right, so Donna, not sure exactly what this means, but it's the energy of being remote. And this is from around age 39. So 38, 39, 40, somewhere in there where, so I think what else? Remote. So at that time, was this a time in your life where you felt more alone and separate or separated from the people or things that you loved? So we're going to release that and we're just going to fill it up with you being fantastic. I like that. So let's get rid of that remote energy, that separateness. We're going to fill it up with fantastic. I like that one. Okay, Alicia is next. So Alicia is working on anxiety. Let's see what comes up for her. And then after Alicia, I've got Nancy, Anne Marie, and Beth. You are welcome, Angel Knight. You are welcome, Rose Petals. All right, so Alicia, I've got the energy of mean. MEAN, around age 26. So 25, 26, 27, something in there. So, and with this, you were the victim of somebody being really mean to you. Donna, thank you for that feedback. I like hearing that my ages are right on. And so with this, not everyone remembers. You know, we've lived a full life. And so sometimes things don't, they just, it's not part of our memory. But generally, when it comes up, I've learned to just trust and going for it. And so with Alicia, so we're going to release mean, but we're going to fill it with interested. And so I'm wondering, well, how does that? So, because mean is such a unkind thing, and it sort of holds you in and makes you withdraw. But with interested, I think it draws you out. It makes you feel excited about things because you are interested. It ignites your passions. So let's release mean, and we're going to strengthen and instill you being interested in so many things, Alicia. Thank you for that feedback, Tug of Light. All right, Nancy is next. So we've got Nancy, Anne-Marie, and Beth. And then we will do our aura strengthening, and then we'll say goodnight. It's definitely later than what it usually is, but yeah, it's definitely a happy new year. All right, so Nancy wants to work on arthritis. All right, Nancy, I'm getting the energy of overwhelmed. Let me get an age. And I'm going to get... All right, so as I said, we've got the energy of overwhelmed, and that's from around age 29, so 28, 29, 30. And so we're going to remove that negativity. And so we're going to fill it with the energy of being progressive. And I know sometimes progressive, in when used in a political sense, is not always positive, but we don't want to focus on that part. We want to focus on you really focusing on what makes sense for you and being open to things that maybe you haven't thought of because you've been just sort of stuck in that energy of being overwhelmed. So what I think of this is just bringing in new thoughts and allowing them to percolate and seeing how that makes you feel. And with those new thoughts, maybe it's different ways of doing or thinking that makes you feel less overwhelmed. So let's get rid of the overwhelmed. And we're going to bring in progressive that allows you to just expand your thinking and makes you ponder things about what works for you. Okay, Anne-Marie is next. And so I've got Anne-Marie and Beth on my list. If I have missed anybody, I am very sorry. Please put your name on the list. Yeah, I do like that name too. It's sort of, letting things sit. Because especially I know sometimes when I'm forced to make decisions before I'm ready, I make the wrong choice and then I have regrets. But if I can allow things to just sort of percolate, I think it helps me make stronger decisions that I feel good about. All right, so Anne Marie, we're working on forgiveness and resilience. So I love that for you, Anne Marie. Yes, it does, Beth. All right, Anne Marie, we are going to release Outraged around age 46. And so, with that, I can feel the fire, I can feel the stiffness and the rage. So, we're going to get rid of all that and we're going to replace it with being flexible and allowing. Because if you can get rid of the outrage, and be flexible. And part of that is allowing you to sit and think because you've had this since you were 46. And that's too long. So let's get rid of that. Get rid of the outraged. And we're going to bring in the flexibility and the allowing, which the outrage did not allow. All right, Beth, you are last. So Beth has issues lately with breathing and coughing. Okay. Let me just get an age. All right, so I'm getting the energy of minimized around age 39. So 38, 39, 40, somewhere in there. And so something or someone that makes you feel smaller, less valued, sort of put aside. And so we need to get rid of that and give you space to trust. So let's get rid of that minimized. And we're going to strengthen and reinforce you being trusting and allowing. And I think part of that is trusting and allowing that deep inner knowing that being minimized was crushed. So thank you for that feedback. Wow, it's been a really good night. So here's our positive words. Let me know if you want to take over some of these and have it be your own, because I like taking some of them too. Okay, so learning, vital, united, flowing, thrilled, virile, innocent, understanding, reliable, unselfish, unbiased, vital, smooth, tactful, praised, unhurried, invited, exceptional, fantastic, interested, progressive, flexible, and trusting. So I think I want to take vital, flowing. I'm going to throw in some gratitude with praised. How about you guys? Any of those that you like? Yeah, some really good words. So I do think I'm going to sort of tweak this. And so this will be a little very similar, but I think I'm going to have less paperwork for next time. Yes, isn't that great, Jenny? Love all of them too. NA Terror wants thrilled and vital. Yes. Because part of it is, I think ever since COVID, I just have felt sort of beat down. And some of the choices I made, I really regret, because at the time I didn't know any better. And so I've sort of beaten myself up for some of those choices. It's time not to have regrets and just be vital. Yes, they're amazing words. And so I hope, even though it took quite a bit longer, because usually we're done in an hour, but we had quite a few people here tonight too. But I'm hoping that this was helpful and that it really makes a difference for the month of January for you, because there's a lot going on, and I think there's a lot to be hopeful for. And so many of you, I think if you can get past what's going on with you, you can bring in something new and amazing. Well, you're so welcome, Anne-Marie. Let's finish up with our aura strengthening. So part of the importance of aura strengthening is not allowing negativity around us through other people and situations. And it's also really helpful not to watch news on TV or the internet, but to really focus on that brings you joy. And so with this, especially if you have to go into a job where there's negativity around you, this will, I'm hoping, give you some tools to help. And so I want you to use your own personal frequencies, which if you are not comfortable with that, you can pull in healing pulse energies. But I want you to rub your hands together. And then I want you to beam the energy out to your aura. So imagine that your aura is getting stronger, thicker, more protective. And I always add a hint of reflectivity so that if someone's spewing some negativity, it bounces back to them. You never want to be totally invisible, totally behind a mirror, because people run into you, and that's especially not good if you're driving. So then also, though, within your aura, think about in your bubble, what would be most helpful for you tonight? Do you need peace? Do you need joy? Fill it up with all the things that will help you tonight or first thing tomorrow. So just send that out. And I hope everyone had a really good night and a very happy new year. I will be here February 1st. Every once in a while, I think I should add a second one, but I'm not quite sure what I should do. So I'm just letting that percolate. But I hope the month of January brings you amazing things in 2026. Thank you for spending your New Year's Day Eve with me. Have a good night, everybody. You're very welcome.